Cool. Let me, before I get started with this, I'm just realizing. Let me, put something in the chat here. Oh, it's not going to let me right now. Okay, oh well. All right, y'all. So today's topic is why it's so hard to grow on Instagram. Um, let's face it, in 2022, growing on Instagram is not as easy as it used to be. Yo, what up, Carson? How you doing, bro? Um, Today, we're going to talk about why growing on Instagram is harder now than ever, but also some of the opportunities, some of the hacks, and some of the ways that you can still make it today, even though it is more difficult. So, um, got some notes here we're going to go over, just make sure I hit everything, that I give you guys the maximum value while you're here. Um, so I want to start by giving a little bit of a history on Instagram here, and just saying, back in the day, it was really easy to grow on Instagram. Like, if you guys were on Instagram really like from the beginning, around 2012ish, 2011ish, growing on Instagram was stupid easy, right? Like, you could post something, and any hashtag you put, you were gonna get followers, views, likes off of the hashtags that you used. Um, and more or less, that was really the case until sometime around 2018. If you look on YouTube at other YouTubers that talk about Instagram growth, you'll see that a lot of these guys that have millions of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers, um, they made it happen. A lot of them in 2018, and that was kind of the last major year that I've noticed that a lot of people blew up on Instagram. So we're going to talk about why in 2022 the game is a little bit different, what changes Instagram has made, and what changes you can take advantage of. Um, and then just for anybody who's tapping in for the first time, scrolling through pages or videos, whatever. My name is Mitchell. I grew an Instagram account last year to 30,000 followers. Um, I'm not one of these IG gurus that's going to tell you everything is dandy. You'll make $1 million if you get started. It's not as easy as everybody wants to make it out to be. So I just like to share my experience, what's worked with me, or what's worked for me with you guys. And you guys can be the judge of if it's valuable content or not. Thanks, Wig. I appreciate it, bro. So I'm going to just flip back. There's really 4 things I want to talk about today. So it's not going to be a super long live. If you guys have any questions, make sure to get them in kind of earlier on. But we're going to talk about the 4 things that I think Instagram is seeing or has seen that's made it more difficult to grow. And the first is supply and demand. Now, when you think about any business, right, with supply and demand, the higher you get of a supply while the demand stays consistent or the demand starts to shrink or whatever, it makes it harder for the supplier to stay in business, right? In other words, if you have a ton of competitors fighting for the same customer, the same small group of customers, it's more and more difficult for the business supplying to stay in business. And I kind of think that's what we're starting to see with Instagram. And what I mean by that is, on Instagram nowadays, what do we think there's more of? Do we think we're getting more and more people that are trying to make it big, trying to be creators, trying to create content? Or do we think we're getting more and more new people on the platform that have never been on Instagram before? Which of those factors is growing faster than the other? Is it the amount of content out there and the quality of content out there? Or is it the amount of new people on Instagram that can possibly consume content and be a follower to you? And I think the obvious answer to that is content. Content is more competitive than ever. And yes, Instagram is still a growing platform, but it's significantly slower than it has been in the past. And it's definitely not growing at the rate that the amount of new content on the platform is. Oh, shoot. We got a comment from Telugu Thugs. He said he has a fitness page with 197,000 followers. How do you make money from it? Let me finish this point and then I'll get into that aspect of it. So when you're looking at the supply and demand of Instagram and why it's a little bit more difficult to grow right now, I think you're seeing again that discrepancy, right? You've got more and more creators fighting for a shrinking, it's still a growing set of eyeballs on the platform, but it's not growing at the same rate as the amount of new creators on Instagram. So you're having to fight harder and harder to get the reach or to get the followers that would have been easier for you to get in the past because there was simply just less competition. And the thing that's really intriguing about Instagram and about social media growth at all is anybody can hop on Instagram. You're not just competing with other like full-time creators on Instagram, right? If you're trying to grow a gym page or you're trying to grow whatever you're trying to grow, you're not just competing with other gym pages that are trying to grow seriously. You're also competing with a follower number 47's aunt who posted a picture from the family barbecue that's now showing up on her feed instead of possibly your gym content, right? So that's the thing about social media is it's got such a low barrier to entry. I mean, it's pretty much free to post on social media and you can post as much as you want, that you're competing with a lot of people, and you're competing with not just people in your own niche, but you're competing with people's attention in all different areas, period. So you've really got to be on your game nowadays if you want to grow on Instagram. So you kind of see that supply and demand discrepancies. The demand is growing, but the supply is growing much faster. So it makes it more and more difficult than maybe it was in 2011, right? Now to kind of jump off topic really quick and talk about monetization, which was the question I just got asked. I'm not going to front and act like I make a ton of money off Instagram because I really don't. I've made a little bit of money off Instagram, and I've kind of got a game plan for what I'm going to do with my Instagram. One way that I have monetized is selling shoutouts, right? And if you're in the gym niche, you could sell shoutouts to other like upcoming gym pages, other people that want to grow on Instagram, or even if somebody's got a product that they want to sell, they might come to you and say, hey, like I've got this roller I want to sell. Will you throw up an ad so that I can, get people coming into my Shopify store or whatever? So that's definitely one way to do it, is to sell ads, to sell shout outs with your Instagram. And there are websites that you can use to hook you up with sales. I'm trying to think of the name of the website right now. But if you look it up and you type in, sell shout outs Instagram or buy shout outs Instagram, you will find sites that are more or less exchanges where you can sell shout outs. And then the website will just take a cut. So it's better if you can do it yourself and not have a website or a third party take a cut, but that is one way, is through shout outs or through advertising. Another way is obviously through your own product or service. So, maybe you're a gym page and you sell protein. I mean, that's the most obvious layup, right? You see this with a lot of gym-related influencers, is they sell their own supplements. And without going too deep into it, there are companies that will let you basically relabel their existing products, or you could, go a little deeper, go over to a website like Alibaba and import stuff from overseas and really hold inventory and do it like that, instead of just trying to drop ship or do something that's a little bit easier. Another thing, obviously, would be any service that you can think of selling. It's a little bit difficult with a gym page. I'll be transparent with you guys about something that I'm keeping pretty low key right now because you guys are hopping on the live with me late at night. But I'm trying to figure out a really good way for analyzing ghost followers. I'm trying to find a good system for doing that and figure out how to actually code something to do that. I haven't really got deep into it yet. This is just an idea I have. Since that's a big thing you need on Instagram, is to get rid of ghost followers and identify them. And then that would be a service I would potentially sell to my YouTube subscribers, not for a ton, but just that would be an example of a service, right? People would come to me, pay me, and I would identify their ghost followers. I don't know what you could do with fitness that would be a service. I guess you could sell, if you really wanted to, ebooks with workouts, or you could sell even like workout videos, different regimens, different plans. I guess that would be kind of more like a service. I got a question from Carson. Why is it so hard? The first 3K besides the money factor. Right. So the first 3K followers, in my experience, is always going to be the hardest because you don't have any momentum yet. And Instagram's algorithm actually favors big pages for the reason that those pages are a little bit more vetted and they can collect more data off of those pages. Let me give you an example. If you've got a new page with, let's say, 500 followers, Instagram doesn't know if you're just posting like racist content. They don't know if you're posting BS content that nobody actually enjoys, and you've just got, like, let's say, a niche group of people that follow you, but this is not content that Instagram actually wants to push out to multiple people. It's hard for them to collect that data. By the time you get to 3,000 followers, they have a little bit more data of, okay, we haven't got any reports on this page yet, or maybe we've got one report on this page, but it wasn't a big deal. Okay, now we can see we have 3,000 followers on this page when he posted this 12 hours ago. Now we've got 300 people's worth of engagement data, how long they looked at the post, how they engaged with the post, if they liked it, if they saved it, if they shared it. And we can see what the quality of the content is based off of their interactions. So they actually use your following base as a way to decide if content is good or not, to then decide if they're going to push it out to more people. So it's safer for... Damn. Yo, I just had something fly directly into my ear. It's it's safer for them as a business to basically play it safe and to wait for you to get to a point where they have data before they push out content, right? Because think about it from their perspective. They make money selling ads, which the longer they keep people on the platform, the more ads they're going to be able to sell. So they don't want to say, oh, we have no data. We don't really know anything about this page. He's only posted 15 times. He's got 100 followers. Let's push it out to 300,000 people, right? They don't want to do that because potentially your content is not great yet because, again, you're a new page. Maybe you haven't spent a lot of time developing your content. And so you would have potentially a lot more people leave the app. Instagram would miss out on money. So you tend to get more reach somewhere around 3,000 followers. It can happen. I've seen it, happen closer to 2,500 followers, and I've seen it happen closer to 4,000 or 5,000 followers. 3,000 followers is just kind of a rough estimate from what I've seen with different pages for where that real pop happens in the algorithm. Wake's laughing at me. It's all good. So the second thing that I want to talk about is something that I call the closing door idea. This is the second reason that growing on Instagram is harder than it used to be, and it's pretty difficult right now. I'm gonna smoke. I hope y'all are cool with that. Hopefully get some of the bugs out of here. So we got the closing door principle. And this kind of ties into supply and demand, but this is the idea that with more competition than ever and more to come, you have to fight harder and harder to get the growth that people used to get so easily, right? It's the idea of the door is slowly closing, and you've got all these people trying to get inside. And when the door is getting, the entrance is getting narrower and narrower, you have to fight harder and harder to get inside the door, to get inside the party, right? It's kind of like the idea, I guess, to try and turn it into a different analogy, or to use the party analogy. If you're one of the first people to a house party, whatever, you come with your friends, whatever, some buddies, you're invited, it's going to be easy in the beginning to get there. If you're trying to come to the house party at midnight and it's already lit, it's already popping, and the party's full, it might be a little bit harder for you to get in there. They might be like, hey man, like, we're not taking any more people. It might be, this or that. It's this idea that if you get in there early, it's going to be easier than if you get in there later. And that tends to be true in most business things and most social media aspects. So another analogy that I really like is it's kind of like how a penny stock, when a company is new on the stock market and they don't have a ton of investors yet, they don't have a ton of people moving money in and out of the stock yet, it's easier for those stocks to make significant jumps up and down, and for you to make a ton of money very quickly. But then when you get these companies that are huge like Google, let's say, it's a little bit harder for those huge fluctuations to happen, right? Like, even if you have a ton of people buying to Google, it's going to take trillions of dollars or billions of dollars for Google to fluctuate 20% in a single day. Whereas with a small company that doesn't have a lot of people yet, you can have those fluctuations go real crazy. So it's the same thing with social media, right? Is in the beginning, it's a lot quicker to see those fluctuations. What up, Haru? Or Haru? I don't know how to say that, bro. Drop in the chat. So you get more stakeholders, you get more people in the kind of realm, and you get these smaller moves. It becomes harder to have crazy growth, right? Okay. Now, the third thing that I want to talk about, the third reason that it's difficult to grow on Instagram right now, and don't worry, I'm not going to be all Debbie Downers for this whole video. There's actually going to be some value in here too. What up, Beru? So algorithm and feature changes. So These actually introduce opportunities for faster growth when the algorithm changes significantly and when you get new features. A great example of this would be Reels on Instagram. So when they added Reels to Instagram, there was immediately a huge growth opportunity like you hadn't seen in years. So I mentioned before that one of the last big sort of growth periods for Instagram was in 2018. 2019 and 2020 were a little bit more dead on Instagram, but as Reels started to pop off, people started to realize, oh man, this is a time that I can grow really, really fast. There's opportunities for faster growth. And again, it's kind of like volatility in the stock market, right? Let's say you have sweeping changes in regulation from the federal government, right? That's going to quickly affect whatever companies are in the industries that are affected by the new laws or regulations. I'll give you an example. Let's say, by extreme example, that the federal government decides to say you can only eat 1 pound of beef per year. The beef industry and the people that raise food, corn, whatever, to feed beef, a lot of those industries are going to take significant hits, right? But if you're somebody that's already in, like, let's say the chicken industry, you're going to see significant opportunities in the chicken industry to run it up. So maybe if you see that legislation coming, you can hop into the chicken industry and run up a quick amount of money. And in that example, Instagram is like the federal government, right? They make these sweeping changes, these big broad stroke changes that affect so much of Instagram through the algorithm, through the features, that if you're just with Instagram, you stay on the side of where they're trying to benefit, you can benefit and grow much quicker too. So that's what we saw over the past year, maybe 2 years with Reels. I'm just gonna check my chat real quick. Why would he say that? Elon Musk says to delete IG. I haven't seen that. I have not seen Elon say that. I'll tell you what I do know about Elon. I know that a bunch of people try to expose his dad banging his stepsister or something. I know that they tried to expose affairs or something recently in the news, allegedly. So I'm sure Elon doesn't like media too much right now. And I don't blame him. Social media is, I say it like this, social media is really like, you're either the dealer or the fiend. It really is kind of like drugs to a lighter degree, right? You've got people on social media that they just scroll through TikTok, they scroll through Instagram every day. All they do is consume content, and they sit there and they're paralyzed. They're not making anything happen for themselves. It's the equivalent of smoking pot all day, right? Your desire to do all this extra stuff, whatever, is down. You're just not as productive, right? But if you're the dealer, if you hop on social media to make content, to provide value, to connect with new people, then there can be value in social media for you. So, I can't speak on Elon. I don't know why he would say to delete Instagram. It might be because, he's been in all sorts of BS lately. The media loves to make Elon look bad, right or wrong. But I'll tell you, that's my perspective on Instagram. So one of the opportunities that you guys have to grow faster on Instagram is with these algorithmic and feature changes. When you see Instagram make a sweeping change, hop on the new feature. So one of the recent changes is we've seen that carousels have started to perform a lot better than standard photo posts. Why is that? That's because when Instagram introduced Reels, this is what I've noticed. I can't verify this factually. It seemed like Instagram started to care a lot more about watch time and the amount of time that you were spending on each post before you would scroll or before you would move away. Obviously, a carousel, let's say, has 10 slides. You're sliding through it, staring a lot longer than you would at one photo, right? So that's why carousel posts did much better, that feature. So if you stayed on top of it, if you stayed on top of the game of learning, staying on YouTubers, honestly, like, I'm not even just saying me, wherever you guys get your value for Instagram growth, I know there's a lot of other channels that my subscribers watch about Instagram growth. Um, that's great. I think if you want to grow on Instagram seriously, you've got to stay on top of it and you've got to stay tapped in with creators, different updates, different things that are happening. And the thing is, I don't think it's ever a good idea to just follow one creator on Instagram growth hacks. So if you're following me, don't just follow me. One person that I really like, if you guys want some good information, you guys want my honest opinion, his name is Hey Dominic on YouTube. That guy's a real G. That guy is the real deal when it comes to Instagram growth. He comes at it from a different perspective than I do. This guy is a real social media scientist. He's got clients. He's got people that he helps grow on social media. I'm coming to you guys from the bottom, from the trenches, as somebody that's much closer to where you guys are at. So what I would recommend is follow somebody like me, follow somebody like that at these different levels, and you can kind of compare and contrast the advice to say, okay, what is Mitch seeing this week? What is Dominic seeing this week? Okay, which do I think applies to me? Or maybe I'll test both. And that's how I recommend sort of using the internet to stay on top of those sweeping algorithmic changes, so that you can hop on the opportunity to grow. I've seen that because I watched a lot on IG. I'm sorry, man. I saw what? I'm a little confused. Anyways, okay. So with the algorithmic changes, I mean, the other thing is that on the flip side of it is algorithmic changes can be a big opportunity for you. So if you stay on top of like, okay, reels are the new thing. I'm gonna post a lot of reels. Oh wow, my reels are getting a ton of views. What does that mean on the opposite side? That means all the air is being sucked out of the other content types and into reels. So by example, when you say, why is it so hard to grow on Instagram? If you're not paying attention to where the oxygen is being sucked to where all of the traffic is really like being sent, which is reels right now, let's say, then you might stay posting regular video posts. Or you might stay posting just a single image post, and that's gonna hurt you. That's gonna make it harder to grow on Instagram because again, you're not on top of those algorithmic changes. Not only do you not know where the growth is at, but you don't know that you're in the slow end of trying to grow or your growth potential because you're picking the content, you're picking the features that are not favored right now by Instagram. So you gotta stay with Instagram's favor, which really is a whole part-time job. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Trying to stay on top of Instagram stuff is, I mean, at least a couple hours a week of just watching different content from different creators to see like, okay, is anybody saying this happened with this new update? And the other thing is, people don't know this, but Instagram stays updating itself constantly. It's I learned in college, in my social media class, they talked about the average social media platform updates, its algorithm auto updates itself. I think it's like 30 times a day or 60 times a day or something like that. And you know, that was back when I was in class in like 2019. I can only imagine what it's like now. And that's what happens when you get AI that auto updates itself and automatically makes changes, right? So I'm struggling to keep this lit. Talking too much. Just playing. They said that's a lot. Yeah, 100%. So, by the way, I just want to make a PSA. Don't smoke, kids. Smoking is not cool. Smoking is whack. If you're a grown man and you don't have an addictive personality and you want to smoke a fully legal cigar once in a while and you're not inhaling it, it's a little bit different, but either way, just, you know, stay away from smoke and drugs. God bless you guys. I love y'all. So we talked about algorithm changes, feature changes, and how that can either slow you down and make growth harder, or how it can speed it up and make your growth easier, just staying on top of it. Haru says, is it good or bad that Facebook owns IG? That depends on how you look at it, right? So, there's an example I wanted to give you guys. I'm going to backtrack in a sec. To answer your question, Haru, it's good and bad, right? So having more infrastructure behind Instagram, having a big company like Facebook behind Instagram ensures that Instagram is not going anywhere in the foreseeable future, right? So social media, one of the things that always happens is a platform gets hot and then it falls off, right? That's how it goes. Like, a great example is MySpace, right? MySpace was hot for a while and then it got cold. When you get money behind a platform, it makes it harder for that platform to fall off. So I don't think Instagram is necessarily the future. I think Instagram is probably reaching its peak or approaching its peak. Maybe it's already past its peak, but Facebook acquiring it probably gives it a little bit longer of a shelf life, which is good for you if you're a creator on Instagram, or if you're trying to create on Instagram. It says, hey, you're going to have at least a few more years, probably, to make money or to grow on this platform. It can also be bad because, like if Facebook decides that they don't like a certain subject, then Instagram's automatically affected too, right? So like anytime you consolidate power in business and politics and whatever, it has positive and negative changes, right? And I think like you can see that with the U.S. and China, right? The U.S. has very decentralized power, not as much as it should be. It's another conversation. And China is very centralized. So China can make sweeping changes faster, which can sometimes be positive, but at the same time, the U.S. has many benefits by being decentralized. How Facebook? Yeah, exactly. One thing I wanted to mention about the algorithm and feature changes and how it's important to stay on top of those, which is point 3 and why it can be so hard to grow on Instagram, is I want to talk about what happened with my page. Last year, I use that term loosely. I don't know the exact time frame, but as I was growing my Instagram page to 34,000 followers over the last year or so, Reels, you could repost a reel from somebody else and it would get a ton of views. One of the changes that Instagram made with its algorithm is to say, hey, if you repost somebody else's reel and our algorithm identifies that as a piece of content that was posted on somebody else's page, we're not going to promote it nearly as much as we used to. So to give you an example, I used to post a reel on my page and even stuff that would do bad would get like 200,000 views. I remember reposting a reel and it took me all of about 3 minutes worth of work, 2 minutes worth of work to repost this reel, and it did like 32 million views, dude. At the beginning of this year, my goal was actually to hit 1 billion views on Instagram. Not at the beginning of this year. This was back in like April, I want to say. What my goal was to hit 1 billion views on Instagram because I had amassed around 330 million over the last year. And I was like, well, let's double that this year and let's turn it into a flat billion. But Instagram made that change, and now my strategy is kind of screwed, right? So you've got to be able to pivot. And I'm not even going to front, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I haven't pivoted as effectively as I probably could have or should have on my rap page. I feel like I've been a little bit lazy with that page because to get personal with it, I really need to eliminate ghost followers, and I don't want to re-up on my ghost follower app because it stopped being accurate. The app I had on my phone to identify ghost followers passed about 10,000 followers, and if I want to identify ghost followers for a page of about 30,000 using a third-party service on Fiverr or paying for a third-party service, it could be closer to $100, which is not a ton of money, but I'm definitely like, you guys know, I don't have a ton of money right now. I spent pretty much all my savings just like chasing YouTube, chasing Instagram growth over the last year. So right now I'm in a little bit of a weird spot where I'm trying to figure things out as cost effectively as possible, but I probably am going to fork over the money now that I've got a part-time job to erase those ghost followers and to start trying to take my growth seriously on my Trap Theory rap page again, try to get it over 34,000 followers, which has been stuck at for like 3 months now. And obviously I'll make content on that, how that goes. One thing that I wanted to tell you guys about is I kind of ran a poll on my channel saying like, hey, I've got this part-time job running social media for a business near me. They sell bikes. Like, would you guys like me to make a series talking about how I'm going to grow this business's page? And I still gotta figure out some logistics behind that. One of the ugly things about the internet is I wish I could just do that immediately without a second thought and just make content about my job, where I work, and how I'm growing their Instagram account, Facebook, other accounts, how I make their content and stuff, because honestly, that's where I put so much of my effort. That's why my rap page is not getting as much attention as it used to. But we live in a world where, I don't know what would happen if I said, hey, I work here. I know out of my 601 subs, probably 99% of you are great people, and you're not going to do anything. But there might be the one guy who decides, I'm going to call up his work and just waste their time or bug them or say, hey, fire Mitch or whatever. You know, like I don't, that's the thing about the internet is you always got to be a little bit careful with how much information you let out there. So, Skinny for the night. I know of him, but I don't know him, bro. Sorry. What up, Lollipop? How you doing? That's crazy. I got people checking in from France. Let me scroll back up because I missed some chats. You know how Facebook is. Could they get copyrighted for using someone's video in IG Reels? Snapchat Reels are paying. So the answer is yes, kind of. If you're making money off of it, you can't use the fair use argument from what I understand. Fair use is transformative content. And all of these reels that I would take of rappers and interviews and stuff were already transformed by the pages that I got them from. So realistically, you couldn't really sue me for that. Once you start adding captions and cutting and changing colors and stuff, it's pretty transformative. And again, I wasn't making any money off of that content. I mean, later on, once I started making my own content, I would sell the occasional shout out and just say, hey, like, if you guys are interested in rap music, check out this rapper. But that's kind of how that went. So for you guys just tapping in, I just woke up, haven't got out of bed, so yo, thank you. I appreciate that. That's crazy. It's always so cool to see people in their own lives just stopping and spending time with me. I truly appreciate you guys. So we talked about, the 3 of the 4 factors already about why it's so hard to grow on Instagram right now. First factor is supply and demand. Look, Instagram is adding new users, but not at the same pace that it's adding new content, and that content is getting better, meaning it's getting more and more difficult to grow because the supply and demand is getting harder and harder on the side of creators. The supply side is not great for us, right? And that leads me to the second part of why Instagram is so hard to grow on right now, which is the closing door concept, which is the idea that with more competition than ever, the door is closing, It's harder and harder to get through this closing spot, which is why I made a video earlier this week saying there's never been a better time to grow on Instagram. It's only going to get harder in the future. So if you guys haven't already started taking it seriously, take it seriously now. The third thing is algorithmic and feature changes. If you're not staying on top of the algorithm, watching for changes, using new features, new things like Reels that they add onto the platform, it's going to slow down your growth because you're not where the oxygen is at, right? Instagram, when they make changes, they're pulling the oxygen away from the old stuff and they're feeding it to the new side of their platform, right? Like example is Reels. So much of the reach that used to get traffic to images is now getting traffic to Reels. So and the supply and demand on Reels is great too, where it's a newer feature, so there's not as much content yet, so you can still hop in there and get a lot of reach for your piece of content comparatively. So staying on top of those algorithmic and feature changes can actually help you to grow a lot faster. Now, growth in audience trust and how they run opposite to one another is the other reason it can be hard to grow on Instagram. And that's something that's going to need a little bit of explanation with me. Okay. So I made a video talking about this last week. But growing on Instagram, the things that get you to grow, and then the things that actually build you trust, loyalty, and a real audience, oftentimes run counter to each other, right? So what might make you grow might kind of not help you with trust, or what might boost your trust and your loyalty in your audience might not help you grow. So that's one reason that it can be so difficult to grow on Instagram nowadays. And I'll give you an example of that. Posting long-form content tends to build better relationships with your audience than posting short-form content. That's why you feel a lot more connected with a YouTuber than you would somebody that you follow on TikTok. The person that you follow on TikTok, you're getting this super edited quick video. You see them maybe 60 seconds a day, maybe 120 seconds a day. the people on YouTube, like if you guys right now are tapping in with me, you guys might have tapped into this live for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 12 minutes. You guys might have already watched a ton of my catalog. You might have watched a 10-minute video before. You might have watched this and that before. And you're getting to know me at a deeper level than if you were just watching me with a 30-second video of me shaking my ass or dancing, right? So a lot of times the things that get you the most reach and growth are not actually the functions that will help you to establish loyalty in your audience. And if you're trying to do one instead of the other, you're going to hurt yourself in the long run, right? Like if I posted only shorts on my YouTube channel, you guys wouldn't get this kind of value that we're getting right now, or that I'm trying to deliver right now. You guys wouldn't know me at a deeper level. And you guys probably, there would be no like word of mouth, like, hey, follow this guy Mitch, bro. Like he's helped me out with my Instagram, or he's got some good insights on Instagram. You wouldn't have that word of mouth. You wouldn't have the kind of trust to where you guys are going to tap in for every video, like Lollipop does. Shout out to you, Lollipop. And where you're going to tap in for every video and hit like, or possibly share it or save it or whatever, right? So if you go for growth in the short term, doing things like short form content, a lot of times that'll hurt you in the long term, because you don't establish that trust and that loyalty that will get you that kind of long term growth and kind of snowball on itself. And I don't know if I'm explaining that as well as I want to. Let me come back to it in just a second. I know I got some comments in here. Does it change the reach in a positive way if I post my reel of grid? I think you're asking if you post a reel to your feed or to like your grid feed on Instagram. I have always found that posting it to my feed, posting it to my regular like profile grid, does get me more views on my reel, get me more reach on my reels than if I was to not post it to feed. I know some people have claimed that that's not the case for them. For me, that's the case. That's all I can say is I always get significantly more reach and significantly more views posting my reels to my feed. Let me hop in chat again. Haru says, I don't really know stuff. Good to learn along the way. Absolutely, brother. It can be a little bit tricky getting into this. I mean, like, I was thinking about this the other day. I was telling somebody I've got all these directions that I want to pivot this YouTube channel over time. I don't just want to be the Instagram guy, but just to get where I'm at with Instagram and my understanding of the algorithm, which is not even great. I would say maybe I understand 60-70% of things, right? Or 60-70% of the knowledge that could be understood about Instagram. I have a pretty good grasp, but not a perfect grasp, and it's taken me over a year, right? Just like diving deep into this. So it does take time, most definitely. I want to know you at a deep level. That's Carson. I love him. Jerry Smokerman. Videos where you analyze profiles and give improvements would be good. Yo, I've thought about that. And I always forget. When I go to make videos, I have all these great ideas in my personal time. And then I feel like I go to record. I have a spot where I record a lot of my videos. And I'm just like, damn, where did all my video ideas go that I had? I appreciate that, man. That's definitely something I would love to do. I'm actually going to write that down after this. If I get to do my series about my job or my gig where I'm growing that company's Instagram account, that's something that I'm so excited to show you guys. I've spent a lot of time really like strongly developing their profile grid and all of the posts and everything, so that there's like a strong branding presence between all of the posts. You know immediately, hey, this is that company's posts when it's in your feed. And I've also done a lot so when you're scrolling through the feed, it's really neat and pretty. And just today, man, I made that company that I work for an ad on Instagram. I made it a reel. I hit that thing out of the park, dude. There's so much that I want to show you guys if I can. There's some things I got to figure out before I possibly do that series, but I think that would give you guys a lot of value if I can get the green light on that if I can get certain assurances and stuff. So give me some time to figure that out, y'all. I'm kind of still new to the gig, so I don't want to shake things up too much. But if you need accounts to analyze, use Skinny from the 9 new account. His old got deleted since it's hard for him to grow. Skinny from the 9, like the rapper, made a new account? Have a good day. You too, bro. Yeah. So looking back at it, that's the 4 reasons I've identified as to why I think it's hard to grow on Instagram right now. Supply and demand. Content is getting more competitive. The user base is not growing to compensate for that. Jerry says, yes, he had to make a new one. Such a good example. Appreciate it, man. Definitely going to look into that. That's good looks, man. If you're peacing out, have a good night. Have a good day wherever you're at. So the first thing was supply and demand. Make sure that you understand, if you're going to start an Instagram today, that it is harder than it's ever been, and that you're going to have to post a lot of content, and your content quality is going to have to be good, right? And you can kind of compensate one for the other. So if you are like, yo, I can't post twice a day, 3 times a day, that's fine. Just make sure when you post that content is really high quality and that you're delivering a lot of value. Make sure too that you're posting the post types that are going to help you out. The second part is obviously the closing door, which ties right into that, which is just to say, the more creators you get on Instagram, the harder it is for you to have extremely fast growth, because you've got more competition, right? It's kind of like the stock market. You get more people into a stock, and then it's like, hey, your $1 million can't make the stock fluctuate as much as it would have if it was a penny stock, we'll say. Same thing with Instagram. The platform's a lot bigger, makes it harder to grow. Sorry, my thing's unraveling. Third thing is algorithmic and feature changes. If you're not on top of the algorithm and watching and trying to capitalize on new feature changes, it's going to be harder and harder for you to grow. If you stay on top of those changes, it's going to be easier for you a lot of times. And honestly, like, that's something that I struggle with. I'm not even going to lie to you guys, not like I'm perfect, is we all should, when we see feature changes on Instagram, oh, Instagram's adding a new post type, oh, Instagram is removing this or changing this, we should all get excited. We should be like, oh, I'm going to do the new thing that they just made because it's going to get me faster growth. That's how we should be looking at it. Oh, there's a new change, which means there's going to be a difference in the way that traffic is moved and that reach is moved. How can we capitalize on those changes? But we're all human, and most humans, to some degree or another, are a little bit scared of change. We're a little bit shy to change things, right? Like, we don't love rapid change. So it can be a little bit, I want to say, frustrating, possibly intimidating. But start looking at it as a positive thing if Instagram's making these sweeping changes. At the end of the day, it's a big company. I want to say multi-billion-dollar company with Instagram. Any change they want to make is to keep them in business longer, which, even if it screws us in the short term, helps us in the long run. Great example is with me and my reels, right? Like, I used to post a reel, take me 2 seconds of work to repost somebody's reel, and I'd get 10 million views, 2 million views, right? Now my reels don't get that kind of traffic, which sucks for me, but I also recognize that in the long run, the changes that Instagram made to devalue reposted content and to higher value unique content is going to be good for the platform in the long run. So I can't be that mad. And that's the way that we should look at algorithmic changes. Lastly, growth and audience trust often run against each other. A lot of times the things that will make you grow the fastest won't be the things that will build the most loyalty in your audience. And at the end of the day, if you want to grow on a social media platform, it's really not too different than if you're trying to grow as a musical artist, right? Like, you can do all these things to fudge your numbers or to, like, get cheap views or to do this or that, but getting a real fan base, actually talking with people, interacting, giving real value, and getting to know people at a deeper level, through things like lives or long form videos or whatever, that's going to help you. It's going to help you in the long run to, like, you think about a lot of musical artists, right? Because I think there's a lot of parallels between social media, like folks on social media that are trying to grow, and music artists that are trying to grow. When you think about, like, let's use Mac Miller as an example. Who was the first person, or how did you find out about Mac Miller, right? Like, it was probably a friend, maybe YouTube or something. How did you figure out about a lot of rappers or musical artists or whoever that you like? A lot of times it's through conversations with friends and through people. And that's because that artist impacted that person in such a deep way that that person said, I resonate with their message, I resonate with their sound, I resonate with what they stand for, whatever their brand. I want to now go and communicate that to somebody else and tell them to follow. And so ideally, if you're looking for long-term growth, that's what you want to do, but that's going to screw your growth over in the short term a lot of times, trying to go for those long-term relationships, which is part of the reason why it's so hard to grow on Instagram in 2022. It's not easy, and it's not going to happen fast. I'm going to answer a couple questions. If you guys got any, and then I'm going to dip out of here because I've been on here longer than I thought it would be. They upload every 5 minutes. It's hard to stick with that. True. Do you think one day some new company will replace IG? Absolutely, no question. It might not even be, like a social media platform or a social media company. It might be a completely different vertical that we have no idea is coming. That's what technology is. That's what the world is. That's what innovation is, And innovation only moves faster and faster. It increases exponentially. So, yeah, you got to stay on top of human behavior. Gary Vee is somebody who talks about that a lot. I think most rappers have an amount of fake followers. Yeah, absolutely, bro. There are a lot of artists who will fake streams, supposedly, allegedly, fake followers or whatever, because there is this idea that success begets success, or that if you seem like it's going, if you seem like you have it going on, then it's actually gonna kind of pop off for you. And sometimes that is true, sometimes it's not, right? Like sometimes you see the guy who posts, "Hey, buy my course for $800," and he's standing in front of a Lamborghini, and sometimes he can make money. But a lot of times I think that's just short-term thinking. That's not actually going to help you in the long run. So again, you got to ask yourself, how long am I actually trying to be here? Am I trying to take the easy route and my page might be irrelevant in a year because I get a lot of ghost followers, a lot of not real followers, and my reach tanks hard? Or am I trying to play for the long run, trying to play for a bigger pie, even if it takes me longer to get there? Sometimes I want to switch my niche because fashion niche is so competitive. Yeah, fashion is, dude. I was thinking that the other day when I was looking at your page, and trying to look at hashtags and stuff that you might be able to use. Is like, fashion is tough. If you feel like there's somewhere that you can truly add value and truly be a voice in a big way, then I would consider pivoting. If you feel like if fashion is your biggest passion and it's your true calling in this life, definitely rock out with fashion, right? There is something to be said for passion. You're going to be able to spend more time on Instagram, and you're going to be more in tune with what the audience wants if you're part of that kind of audience, if you're part of that interest, right? Like if you have the same interest as your audience, it makes it easier for you to serve your audience what they want because you're really part of the audience. But yeah, if you can become a leading voice on something, or you can figure out a new way to be a voice on something, I think that's where you can get growth potential. Like I know I don't want to say never. I feel like I'm not going to be one of these people like, hey, Dominic, that is super surgical about Instagram growth and helps a ton of people grow. I would love to help people grow, but what I mean is I don't think I'm going to run an agency and stuff anytime soon. And I'm okay with that because the angle that I want to take with my channel, with my Instagram growth, instead of trying to be like the premier, like top voice, like, oh, I'm the big dog in this space, is like, I'm the underdog in this space. I'm the guy that's in the trenches with you. I don't have 1 million followers. I got 30,000. I know a lot of you guys want to get to 30,000, and I know 30,000 is a lot better than 2,000, 1,000, 500. So I say that to say, if you think you can attack something from a new perspective or new angle to actually help people, that people would appreciate, I think that's a good thing. And plus, a lot of these big pages that have millions of followers and stuff, like I said, they gained it back in 2018 when it was easier. And so a lot of the unique tactics and stuff that they used are irrelevant at this point, or are changed, the door's closed, it's not there anymore. And so they can't give you I feel like a lot of the specifics that I can give you, because I'm like, look, I didn't put up 1 million followers, but I put up 30,000. Here's the exact tactics I use. People say follow for follow doesn't work anymore. I'm here to say it does, as long as you use it in moderation. But if you use it in moderation, it can get you to that 3,000 follower point where you pop off quicker. These are things that I learned from, being at a lower level than a lot of these guys, I feel like. So I don't know if you guys feel that way too, but that's how I view my kind of value, my perspective of myself. Haru said, true, but some rappers used TikTok. Yeah, TikTok is dope. I really feel like Instagram is still as good of a growth opportunity as TikTok. It's hard for me to grow on TikTok right now. I need to figure that out. If I do, I'll make videos on that. Yes, he had fake followers. A French rapper had his page closed. He had another page and has nearly 1 million followers. 10 hours. All fakes, yeah, absolutely. Fake followers are so whack too, because it makes it harder to grow in the future. So it's like, why are you going to fake your success now just to screw over your real success in the long run? It's stupid. Jerry, do you think it helps to buy the first followers to look legitimate? No, absolutely not. It's not going to help your engagement. It's going to make your page look like spammy, scummy. You're going to spend money on empty followers that don't do anything for you. It might help your perception to somebody who doesn't actually click on any of your posts, but typically before somebody actually is going to follow you, they're going to click on a post and they're going to go, how does he have 10,000 followers exactly, but he has 1 like on this photo? That's sus to me. Your engagement's going to be hurt, which is going to make it harder to grow in the future. Don't do that. Lollipop said never. Buy fake followers, never. Agreed. Do you ever use fake followers or thought about it? I mean, everybody's thought about buying followers, right? Like anybody who first starts on social media is like, man, this is harder than I thought to grow. Thinks about it, right? Everybody thinks about it, but, do you want to try and take the easy path in life? The easy path that's your reputation, is you try to take the easy path and it probably didn't pan out for you. A lot of people that try to build quick wealth, they're trying to build quick wealth forever. Or they just give up after realizing like, oh, I've went through 20 schemes and nothing's worked. Really sitting down and saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to fight my way through this. I'm going to spend the next 5 years of my life either looking like a bum and this doesn't pan out, or I'm going to get it. But either way, I'm sitting here and I'm working at it every day. I'm going to be consistent. There's no stopping me in my pursuit. I just think there's more value in that, and that's the majority of millionaires, billionaires that you'll meet in this world, I think, work hard than try to scam or scheme. Not saying they don't. I'm just saying I don't believe in a lot of that fugazi business. I didn't tell you a brand email asking for a collab. Yo, do it. Do it. I mean, as long as it look good, check into the brand, but that's a W. That's a big W. Carson said 280 followers here. Hey, bro, we all start somewhere, man. The new business account that I'm trying to grow, you know what it is. You know me in real life. They're at 250, so definitely we can talk in person, but watch the moves that I make with that page because it's at a similar point to where you're at. But I recommend doing the follow for follow method. You can talk to Scott too. Let me get back to my chat real quick before I dip out of here. Yeah, they will never interact because your ghost followers. Talking about fake followers, that's true. Haru said 0 here. Bro, if you have 0 followers, that's fine. Get started though. Like I said, pick your vertical and climb it. My personal perspective is that Instagram is still dope. A lot of people swear by the fact that other social media platforms are better places to start. A lot of people would say TikTok. If you want to go for TikTok, do it. My advice is just pick something and do it. Don't be one of these people that's paralyzed by fear, or that's like, I'm going to do it, and then they make 2 posts, and then they decide, oh man, this is a lot of work, and then they don't do anything about it. Is do something, man. Build some sort of online presence. Even if you're not going to make $1 million off it, it can definitely help you to land a job or something if you have some sort of marketing or social media marketing experience. Carson said, we can follow for follow and interact. At Haru, yo, bro. Oh, bro, you're not going to get poor bet later on. I'll be going places. I appreciate that, Haru. I'm definitely poor right now. I'm not going to front to you guys. Act like I got it good. Financially. I'm definitely blessed. Like, I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm going to share a personal story with y'all. something heavy happened this week, man. I don't even know if this is a story you share online, but whatever. It's 2 in the morning. Um, I was gonna go see a movie with some people, and I had to I had to take a leak before the movie, and I didn't want to go into it like a ghetto ass gas station or anything. There wasn't any gas station near me, so I pulled up behind these businesses that were like pretty like run down or whatever. And they're like, I look around, there's nobody. There's like a tight little corner with a bush. I'm like, yo, I just gotta hurry and take a quick leak. Gotta pee really bad, and then I'm gonna be going to this movie in like 30 minutes. Um, and where I went to take a leak in this bush, um, there was a homeless lady on the other side of the bush. She goes, "Hey," and she was really sweet, and she's like, "Hey," like she was clearly startled by me walking up to this bush with such confidence because I was gonna take a leak, and I go, "Hey," like, "Oh, hey, sorry, I didn't see you there. Like, I apologize, I didn't mean to disturb you. Like, I just really like was looking for somewhere to go to the bathroom, real quick." And she goes, "Oh yeah, I'm just back here." Like, she was really sweet about it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I'll leave you alone." And so I try to get back into my car, and she looks at me, she's like, "Please don't call the cops." Really sweet lady. I can tell that she's with it. You know, there's homeless people that you can tell are like drug abusers, and then there's homeless people that you can tell are just in tough times. And this lady struck me as somebody who is probably in more of a tough time. Um, and she said, "Don't call the police." I said, "Oh, I won't, I promise." I was like, I didn't mean to like scare you. I'm sorry. Again, I was just looking for somewhere to go to the bathroom. I won't call the cops. And she's like, "You can pee here if you need to. Like, I can move." And that, dude, that hit me. It's like this back alley where I thought oh, this is a good place for me to take a piss real quick, is where this woman looked and was like, this is a safe spot for me to set up camp for the night. And in Christianity, there's this saying I remember hearing in church. It's kind of like the first will be last, and the last will be first. And it struck me as like that's incredible. You know that we live, you know, same state, probably one city apart, and that spot was looked at so differently for us. That was a safe place for her, and it was a place for me to just, you know. So I tried to offer her some things, help her out a little bit, and I say all that to say, like, if you got food on the table, if you got a roof over your head right now, like you guys got it good. You guys got it blessed. We're on here talking about first world shit, y'all. Like, growing on Instagram, like, yes, it's hard. It's gonna take time to do that. But if that's even a worry in your head, if that's a worry for any of us, that means we've got it pretty damn good, right? Like, there are people that don't have water. There are people that don't have a roof. There are people that, have real problems, have bigger problems. So, um, even if you're like me and you're kind of broke right now, you don't have a lot of money or whatever, but you got a roof over your head at night. You got family that loves you. You've got food in your belly. You got water. You got it good, And that's one thing that, dude, it hit me hard this week. It's just trying to remember, like all this shit is extra. At the end of the day, like, I'm a Christian. I believe we're gonna meet God in the afterlife, and we're gonna be, all this shit like social media is not that serious. So I think it's easy to get bogged down in all of it sometimes and be like, yo, I'm not moving, I'm not getting where I want to be or whatever. But, like, guys, it's okay to take time with it. Like, if you got your bases covered, you're living the good life. Even if you're not hitting your target or your goal yet, you're living the good life, man. And I think we should all strive to be a little bit I mean, I can only speak for me. I'm trying to strive to be more appreciative of my circumstances instead of trying to be frustrated with the fact that I don't have a lot of money and I'm not where I'm trying to be in this world and in business. I'm trying to just like genuinely be more grateful because God really has blessed me, man. That's crazy. You know that me and that woman were in the same place, but what what that place was to me was completely different to her. You know, so um, probably gonna dip out to see if there's any last questions or anything like that. Sorry to make it all kill the mood, y'all. Um, Haru said, "Yeah, 100 years is not a long lifetime. You know, if you get 100 years in this world, you're blessed. But um, there's something bigger and better after this, and all this stuff really, it doesn't matter in the micro, in the short term, or in the macro. You know, I guess it does matter to a degree because if you're like me, this is you want to grow on Instagram so you can put food on the table, so you can take care of yourself, secure your own safety, possibly secure the safety of others, you know, so that you can network with great people and have great relationships. But look, if you're trying to grow on social media to make a living off of it, you're picking a hard path and it's going to take time. Um, and all I can tell you is on that hard path, one thing that's been really like important for me as I've lost my mind and trying to lost sanity and try to find it again is be happy with less along the way. You know, like a lot of time God, a lot of times God gives us more than we need, and we don't even recognize it because we want even more than that. So that's all I'm gonna leave you guys with tonight. I'm gonna dip out. Get off social media. See real life. We can see that we're a little selfish. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. I hope I gave you guys some good value tonight on growing on Instagram. Good perspective, you know. Um, I really truly love you guys. If you guys need any more help, feel free to always comment. You guys can comment on this video after I end the live stream. I'll try to get back to you guys. I try to get back to all my comments pretty quick. So I love y'all. Peace out. Have a good night, guys.